listening to the LOZ Podcast Network.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the LOZ Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ken Lawler. You are most likely watching us in the LOZ app right now, or you might be listening to us on KRMS radio on Saturdays from 10 to 11 a.m. We call it the Big Simulcast. We love our collaboration with KRMS and all the stations over there. Remember, you can listen to any of their stations in the LOZ app. All you do is go to the media button and hit one tap on the station you want to listen to, whether it's rock or whether it's sports or whether it's country or whether it's just news talk. And you can get all that in your boat, in your car, or in your headphones when you're walking. It's great. And why not? You can listen to me while you're walking, while you're exercising. These two people that I got with me today, you don't want to miss Michelle and Michael Lasson, Flat Branch Home Loans. What's going on, guys?
Hey, good afternoon. How are you? I guess good morning, depending on when you're listening.
That's right.
How?
We have you guys on, once a month at least, and because you're such, you know what's going on. You have your pulse on what's going on at the lake, particularly with loans and with all the real estate that happens on a daily basis down here. It's a lot to keep up with, and a lot of people buy a condo at the lake, right? I don't know how many condos are available down here, but I mean, there's a lot of condos being bought and sold, isn't there?
There is. Condo market is huge down here at the lake, and it's a great market.
Yeah, what I love about the condo market down here is, for the most part, you're always on the water. You're always at a place where you can park a boat. You always usually have a pool, and I mean, that's pretty cool.
You don't have to mow grass.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. The fact that you can kind of get into an all-inclusive place, enjoy all the amenities of the lake, and really, we're one of the few lakes that has that. I mean, if you go to Branson, you don't see condo complexes on the water. Everybody's set back.
And the good thing about our area now is it's not just your Memorial Day to Labor Day lake anymore. We've got stuff going around all year long. And it's awesome. Yeah.
It's no longer like 90 days to get your season in and then maybe a little shoulder season. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's look, when I was younger, it got a lot colder. It doesn't seem like it gets that cold anymore. There's days in January, February, March that you can go boating now, with all the people with tri-tunes and outboard motors. They don't have to winterize them, so you can get on the lake. It's kind of become a year-round thing.
When I first moved here, it was in 1993, and the lake literally would shut off the day after Labor Day. It was a ghost town the day after Labor Day. And, that was just for a couple of years in the early 90s, and then it went away. It's been becoming a full-time lake for the last several years. And I keep waiting for the big snowstorm. We don't ever get it anymore.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, we always got a bunch of them, and it doesn't seem like they're there anymore. But let's talk about, most people used to buy a second home here. That was a second home market exclusively. And now you're finding a lot of people are moving here full-time.
Absolutely. I just actually had a client call me a few minutes ago, and they're buying their second home right now, but they have every intention to make it their full-time home and within the year. That's their goal. That's their retirement plan. So they're buying their second home now. Why they can show that they can afford it. Then they sell their other house a year from now and pay this one off. That's what their plan is.
And, let's go back to the condo market a little bit, because that can be a little tricky, because I know there's a lot of stuff with HOAs and just rules and regulations and all the insurance stuff that's been going on. Michelle, you're kind of the resident lake expert on condos. You keep a Bible over there that has all the rules and everything. What's going on with the condo market now, and how is it changing?
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are changing their rules August 3rd. The limited review, basically, if you were putting 25% or more down on your second home, we did a limited review. We got a condo questionnaire, verified the insurance, and that was it. Now that's going away, and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac want us to review bylaws, decks, budgets, more in-depth review of the insurance. There's a lot of things that we've got to make sure that the complexes have, not only for the loan side, but for the buyer side too. We want to make sure you're well protected with the property you're buying. So the HOAs have been well versed in this. We've been reaching out to them since the beginning of the year when we found out these changes were going into effect to make sure that they're getting on board with having everything done that needs to be done so we can get financing for the new buyers.
Yeah, and I mean, a simple change like that could really throw a wrench in if if your lender doesn't know what's going on and they're not familiar with the lake and they're not familiar with the HOAs and they don't have the advantage of doing this for the last 3 decades. You don't want to get stuck in a situation where you want to get into a place, you got everything done, and there's a hiccup because the lender didn't understand what's going on, like the Ozarks, and it is a different market.
It is a different market, and we want to make sure we find out as much information in the early stages of the process so we can look at all the options that could be available.
You know, what I find interesting is that you guys, people obviously have a rush at the beginning of the season before Memorial Day, and then everybody wants to get in by the July 4th holiday. And now here we are, the end of July, but there's still time and a lot of boating left for people to get in by Labor Day, isn't there?
Oh, there is. We've closed them quickly, like in less than 10 days, but we can still get you in before the holiday with no problem.
And the best way to get that, I think we've talked about this before, is to get pre-approved. I mean, if you're going to be out there shopping for a condo or a home at Lake of the Ozarks, you want to kind of go through the process of getting pre-approved. So, if you do find something that you love, and you put an offer in on it, and it looks good to the seller as well. All right. I mean, if you come in and you're a buyer that's been pre-approved, I mean, they kind of know you're the real deal.
That's right. And I mean, the pre-approval is good for the seller, most definitely. The seller wants to know that you've taken the steps to get pre-approved. But it's also good for you to know what your budget is, what you can comfortably afford. I mean, you know what you can afford on paper, but to have Fannie and Freddie review it and make sure that we're all aligned properly, that's good to know. That's valuable information.
Yeah. And, I think too, a lot of people, let's face it, it's a little different market. It's kind of moving more to a normal market. So, where stuff was getting sold in a day or 2 days with multiple offers. I talked to some realtors that are on the show today, and they're like, it's moving back to a 45 to 60 day window. You're no longer seeing people who are just putting a blind offer in 20,000 above with no contingencies. It's kind of moving more to a normal market, which I think everybody appreciates, right? That frenzy that was around for a while, I think is now moving to something that's a little more sustainable. But that still doesn't mean that people want to wait too long. And when they're ready to go, they want to know that they're approved and they're ready to close, right?
Right. And there's a lot of ever-changing rules in the lending industry. So it's good to be upfront and know what you're getting into. So if there are any hiccups we need to work on beforehand, we can get those handled before you go make your offer. And then you're golden when you're ready to make your offer and the seller's comfortable, the realtors are comfortable, and everybody knows you're good to go.
What is if somebody's looking to get into a second home like a condo, what would they expect to have to put down on a loan for a second home? Is it different than initial home, or are there programs out there that are kind of all over the place? What's the norm?
The best pricing for rates on a second home is 25% down. Condo, second home, house, second home, a vacation home. And that's just going to give you the best possible rate. The guidelines allow us to do as little as 10% down, but you're going to pay a higher rate. You're going to pay, maybe a point or two, just depending on overall picture of the file. But it's best to put at least 20 to 25% down.
And I've always been a guy. I've done very few 30-year loans in my life. I've always tended to be around a 7-year ARM or a 1-year ARM or a 3-year. Just because based on how I move, I mean, I'm rarely in the same place for more than 6-7 years. We've just always been that way. But what do you see mostly? Is it still a 30-year market? Is that what everybody wants?
Yeah, everyone loves the 30-year market. Right now, there's incentives with 30-year versus your adjustable rate mortgages. And so in most cases, the 30-year fix is cheaper than the ARMs.
Oh, really? Because that's different than the past.
Yeah, it is. And we can price out all the different loan products, let the buyer make their choice. We can also show you, if you do a 30-year, because it's the best option, how to pay extra towards your principal and knock that down to, a 16 or 17-year note.
But that's interesting because it used to be the whole reason to go with a 1 year arm or 3 year arm was they were cheaper rate, a better rate than on a 30 year. And you're saying the 30 year is actually cheaper than the arms. I can't imagine why would somebody do an arm then?
The arms are not a Fannie or Freddie product. Okay, we follow Fannie and Freddie rules. Don't get me wrong, but they're not actually their products. Fannie and Freddie are the fixed rate products, and right now the quality of loans that are being delivered to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are the best that they've ever been. So Fannie hasn't incentivized the 30-year fix right now. It's just a much better option.
What is the 30-year fixed at right now today?
A primary home, you're looking in, low to middle sixes. The second home is going to be determined by the amount of money down, your credit scores, total debt ratio, more than anything will decide that. So, I locked one in the other day at 6 3/4 for a second home.
Gotcha.
So it's a little higher, not much.
Yeah.
Just depending on the credit scores.
Well, you got all these people out there in these 3.5s and that are in their main, residence, and they're like looking at 6, like that's double what I'm paying. But I think
as it relates to second homes, you're going to lower the risk, lower the rate, higher the risk, higher the rate. That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is that people I think sometimes don't think about is the appreciation that's happened in this market year after year after year for the last 7-8 years. It had a chance to not do that after COVID was done. It still kept going. It's still going today. You pay another 1.5 or 2 points on a loan. That gets offset pretty substantially by a 10% bump in what the property's worth after a year of owning it. So, this is really a good market to take a shot in and not have to worry too much about the rate, isn't it?
I would agree. That's a very good analogy.
Listen, I love having you guys on. We have you guys on every month. You guys give great information. I will tell everybody the easiest way to find them is to go into the LOZ app, go to the real estate section under lenders. You can find them right there. They know everything about going on. And, they can help you with any kind of loan you want. But if you're looking for a condo at the lake, you better call them because they are the experts of condos down here. They know everything going on and the rules are changing. You got to make sure that you don't get caught up in all that. And Michael and Michelle Lasson can make sure that happens. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to talking to you again real soon. It's Mike and Michelle Lasson, Flat Branch Home Loans. Call them early and often. They can help you all the time. They never stop working. They work 24/7.